So, I know there's lots of talk going on in Ghana about whether or not the police can arrest without a warrant, and the simple answer is yes. The law clearly provides for that. Now, if you look at Act 30, which is the Criminal Procedure and Other Offences Act of 1960, which means even before 1960, the laws allowed for police to arrest without a warrant. In fact, it was even more harsher in those instances. But under the current law as we have it, if you look at Section 10 of Act 30, it states clearly that the police can arrest without a warrant. It lists certain circumstances under which the police can arrest without a warrant, which include, for instance, if a crime is committed in the presence of the police, if you desert from the army, you can even be arrested, or if you escape lawful custody, you can also be arrested. Now, the question is, what other grounds can a person be arrested if it's not those grounds? And that is also provided for in Section 10(2) of the Criminal and Other Offences Act. So when the police have reasonable grounds that a crime has been committed, the police can arrest without a warrant. So when the police suspect on reasonable grounds that a criminal offense has been committed, when the police suspect that a criminal offense is about to be committed, and when, for instance, when you're found holding, for instance, a tool that is deemed to be a tool that can be used for unlawful entry, the police can arrest you without a warrant. When you are found in possession of goods or items that the police believe these items are stolen property, they can arrest you without a warrant. So we've seen videos or a video gone viral where a young man, a musician in Ghana, was arrested without a warrant. Now the question is, or the key word here is reasonable grounds. So the police cannot just arrest you without a warrant that something has happened, but the police need to establish, because you have your right to liberty or freedom to liberty guaranteed under the Constitution, subject to laws. And one of these laws, of course, will be Act 30. So the question is, can the police arrest you without a warrant upon reasonable grounds that a crime has been committed? And the grounds have to be reasonable. The ground has to be reasonable. So a person has gone to report you at the police station that you have committed a criminal offense against a person. So that's when the initial reasonability test comes in, based on the information that you have given the police and based on the evidence that maybe you have given to the police as well. Can they arrest the suspect or the person you're complaining about? That's where the reasonability test comes in. So a certain threshold has been given by the law, or Act 30. So the law does not simply say, yes, police can arrest without a warrant. It allows for the police to arrest without a warrant when there are reasonable grounds, aside the others that I've stated, for instance, deserting from the army or possession of stolen property, amongst others. And this is not too strange, because the same law also allows even non-police officers to arrest without a warrant. It's all provided for in our laws. If you look at Section 12 of Act 30, it's clearly stated that a person who is not a police officer can indeed arrest without a warrant when, for instance, a person commits an offense which involves the use of force or violence or, that kind of thing. So if you see somebody slapping a person, you can arrest the slapper or the person who is slapping the other person. The law actually provides for that. When there's violence being committed against another person, you can indeed arrest the person, and it's provided for our laws. The little caveat here in respect of a private person who can arrest when a crime has occurred not in his presence. So when a crime, the general principle is that the crime, for a private person, the crime must have occurred in your presence. Unlike the police, that even if it doesn't occur in their presence, with reasonable grounds, and the test once again, reasonable grounds. The grounds have to be reasonable. On reasonable ground that a criminal offense has been committed, the police can indeed arrest. But with a private person, the rules are more stricter. So the caveat here for a private person is that the crime or the criminal offense must have occurred in your presence. So if the criminal offense did not occur in your presence, you cannot arrest without a warrant. And these criminal offenses are not just broad or criminal offenses in general. They're criminal offenses, like I said, in the nature of the use of force, destroying or damaging public property, amongst others. Now, when it comes to even private citizens or private persons, sorry, pardon the repeated use of the word citizens, I mean private person. When it comes to a private person, you can even arrest when the crime did not occur or the criminal offense did not occur in your presence. Now, in such situations, the further caveat here is that the crime must have actually occurred. Now, listen to the wording of section 12.2. Now, section 12.2 of Act 30 says a private person may arrest without a warrant a person whom the private person reasonably suspects of having committed an offense in subsection 1, which we have earlier discussed, where an offense of that nature has been committed. So if the offense did not occur in your presence and you are going to do a job, you are going to do busybody and go and arrest somebody even when you are not a police officer upon reasonable grounds, and it turns out that the crime indeed did not occur, then you have indeed breached this law. So in short, the police can arrest without a warrant. The general principle, yes, they are supposed to obtain a warrant, general principle. However, the law also allows for them to arrest without a warrant under certain circumstances, which I've earlier discussed. And even a private person can arrest without a warrant under certain circumstances, which I've also earlier discussed. So be educated, all of us. Let us all learn these little things. And also, I repeat, the police, remember, your grounds for arrest have to be reasonable. If you're going to arrest without a warrant, your grounds for arrest has to be reasonable. Otherwise, you're breaching or infringing upon the human rights of a person or of the person you have arrested without reasonable grounds. And if you have indeed done that, it will lead to a lawsuit. My name is Isaac Wilberforce Mensah. Once again, this is The Brief with Wilberforce, and I believe that we have all been edified by this breakdown.